So for Manners, the key issue with overpopulation is not simply a matter of numbers in terms of the number of individuals within a given area, but rather by the inappropriate channels of distribution. And so this is according to Manners, this is the shell game that some demographers and others would suggest by noting that certain areas are overpopulated because they do not produce enough resources or the foods that are needed in that given area. But in reality, if we consider the global economy as being inherently interdependent today in terms of resources that are utilized across well, just as I mentioned before, across every single day. Think about all of the resources you utilize and how those resources have been acquired. And so if there was a shutting off of things like trade in terms of production of goods and services, we would see some sort of diminishment in our overall lifestyle, which could include things, very simple things like perhaps orange juice or coffee or bananas or something like that, but also oil or necessary energy sources that are considered to be basic needs today and to maintain the contemporary lifestyles of many within middle class of the United States as a whole, as well as general ideas about proper behavior and consumptive patterns as a whole. And so for Manners, ultimately what this becomes is that cultural changes are needed as what he sees as a realistic alternative to what has been proposed as the only other real alternative in terms of diebacks. And again, he's writing in response to Ehrlich's notion of this idea of humanitarian crisis, this idea of cutting the population from 4 billion down to 1.5 billion, and that we owe a debt to future generations, this humanitarian call to those who are not born. And Manners really calls this into question and notes, well, what is the, in terms of a rational humanitarian framework, to whom do we owe responsibility? Is it future generations of unborn individuals, or is it the individuals that are living today? And so Manners really throws down the gauntlet here at the end. And I'm quoting him at length here because I think this helps to really bring his points together as a whole. And he talks about this idea of shifting cultural mindsets and how this must be done in order to confront the so-called problem of overpopulation, but which is truly for Manners a problem of distribution and equity. And he notes, and concluding, that hopeless causes are not the exclusive property of impractical dreamers and mindless fanatics. They are sometimes embraced by those who despair about a hopeless present. And if the choice of causes offered does indeed lie between starvation to achieve a chimerical population balance and cultural changes that could liberate our technologies, likely potential for feeding all of the people now and in the foreseeable future, I think most of us would opt for the latter. If there is a so-called third choice, i.e. the immediate implementation of a drastic and worldwide birth control program to avert dieback now while yielding zero population growth in a couple of generations, if such a program were indeed more feasible than the cultural changes suggested, it would still require distributional reforms during the interim period, and those two would demand the kind of economic, political, social, and ideological adaptations that alone could overcome the present effects of maldistribution. So Manners really calls into question, and I think takes to task, Ehrlich and other theorists on population, that the world is in fact overpopulated, and that numbers in and of themselves matter. So in conclusion here, the articles in total suggest a number of, I think, interesting points to the big questions. So we talked about early population theorists. We talked about Ehrlich's population bomb, Manners' refutation of that, the demographic transition model, some population estimates, and then really focused with Braff's piece on national policy and biopower. And so when we ask questions about population and in the context of this being a world or a global problem, when it's phrased in that particular manner, how much agency are we willing to give up? Or are we willing to give to others to dictate for individuals what they can or cannot do? So there's this whole discussion again about freedom versus structure. Where, in fact, does the population problem lie? Again, if we say that this is in so-called less developed countries, are we in fact recreating some of these same binaries that Braff argues so strongly against in her article of modern versus traditional, or urban elite versus indigenous rural individuals? And then who should address it? I mean, where, again, in questions of agency, who has the power to decide for other individuals overall? So these are big questions, of course, that not only relate to population as a whole, but to issues surrounding international development, economics, and politics that we'll be discussing throughout the semester.